Hello, I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen from photosNtravel, and this is the travel news you need to know. Of course, with the COVID pandemic raging around the globe, many countries are in lockdown or not accepting tourists. In Beijing, a cluster of cases traced back to a food market caused the city to once again impose a stay-at-home order. They were virtually virus-free with no locally transmitted cases in 57 days. South Korea announced that a second wave of infections had begun, which is unfortunate, as they had reported less than one new case per day. Germany has also imposed lockdowns as of June in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia after an outbreak occurred. Even Saudi Arabia is getting on the bandwagon and announced it would not allow Hajj pilgrims from outside the country to enter this summer and would also limit the number of Saudi residents allowed inside the Great Mosque in Mecca at one time. If you think you're experiencing a heat wave, traveling north is not necessarily the right answer. Temperatures in the Siberian town of Verkhoyansk, 90 kilometers north of the Arctic Circle, reached 38 degrees Celsius. That's 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This was the first time a triple-digit temperature has ever been recorded within the Arctic Circle. The average summer high in the Russian village of 1,400 people is 18 degrees Celsius. Throughout the months of March, April, and May of this year, temperatures north of the Arctic Circle were averaging 10 degrees Celsius above normal. In the city of Ferrara in northern Italy, more than 200 Jewish artifacts and documents from the Roman, Renaissance, and modern periods are displayed at the National Museum of Italian Judaism and Holocaust. Commemorating over 2,000 years of Jewish history and practice in Italy up to the Holocaust, the museum is housed in a former prison near the medieval Jewish ghetto that housed Jews and political dissidents during World War II. Multimedia installations are included, and 4 more exhibits are expected to be completed in 2021. Pricing and the website are on the screen. Indian and Chinese soldiers skirmished along the disputed border in Kashmir region. At least 20 Indian and 45 Chinese soldiers were killed or injured. Appreciate that the numbers could be a bit sketchy depending on who's reporting. It was the first time there were casualties along that border in 45 years. The interesting thing is that no firearms were used in the fighting, as a treaty between the two nations bans guns from that region. Perhaps put this region at the bottom of your bucket list. Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris will soon have a cleaner look as some of the scaffolding is finally being removed. The metal scaffolding was erected prior to the fire of April 2019 and had melted. The scaffolding was on the building due to restoration work that was being done when the fire broke out. The work to remove the scaffolding is expected to take up to 4 months. Notre Dame has not reopened to the public since the devastating fire, and construction work cannot begin until after the scaffolding has been removed. Concerned about where you can travel these days? An interactive map showing the COVID-19 related border restrictions for almost every country and territory has been created by the International Air Transport Association. A link to the map is visible on the screen, and clicking on a country will reveal the most up-to-date information on its travel restrictions, which can include COVID-19 testing rules, quarantining, and entry bans on travelers from specific countries. Want to see the inside of France's original Lascaux cave without leaving your home? A virtual tour is now available and consists of a detailed video of each of the cave's 9 sections. During the tour, you can pause the video, and each illustration on the wall can be viewed close up, with descriptions of what is depicted, as well as archaeological interpretations. The caves were discovered in 1940 and are famous for their prehistoric art. Visit the website on the screen. Cruising has taken a devastating hit in the past 5 months, and cruise lines around the world are scrambling to update their health and safety practices in preparation for a return to cruising during the COVID-19 pandemic. Hand sanitization and mask policies, changes in how food is served, and increases in onboard medical staff are but a few practices under review. Here is a link to a list of the new health protocols of many ocean and river cruise companies. You may have heard that South Korea recently floated balloons with propaganda literature over the skies of its northern neighbor. Needless to say, North Korea was not impressed and destroyed most avenues of communication with the South. To take it one step further, on June 16th, they blew up a joint liaison office in the city of Kaesong, near the border with South Korea. The office had been built by South Korea in 2018 as a place to hold high-level meetings between the two countries. Much of the recent activity has been ordered by Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korea's Supreme Leader Kim Jong-un. She has become increasingly powerful in the country's government and in June threatened to position thousands of North Korean troops along the demilitarized zone, threatening military action. Fortunately, she suspended that order but left open the possibility for future troop increases on the border. Thinking of visiting the Maldives? It's getting easier. The archipelago country in the Indian Ocean announced on May 28th that it would be opening its borders to leisure travelers with a host of requirements for all incoming visitors. Tourists would have to pay $100 US for a visa and have proof of at least 2 weeks' accommodation. A week later, however, the Maldives announced that its government officials had changed their minds, and visitors would not need to meet those requirements. All they need now is proof of a negative result on a test for COVID-19 within the last 14 days. If proof cannot be provided, a COVID-19 test will be administered at the airport, and the traveler will be required to quarantine until the results are in. I can think of worse places to be sequestered for a couple of days. If you have a thing for volcanoes, Iceland is now offering super jeep tours operated by Arctic Adventures, leaving from Reykjavik and taking guests to the Eyjafjallajökull volcano, which last erupted in 2010. The tour also takes visitors to Gígjökull Glacier and the Seljalandsfoss and the Skogafoss waterfalls. Fortunately, someone will be able to translate those names better than I can. Contact info for Arctic Jeep Tours is on the screen. The tour departs Reykjavik, the capital, at 9 a.m. and brings you back at 6 p.m. It includes pickup and drop-off at each guest's hotel, plus a driver, a guide, and a picnic lunch. It's offered year-round and costs about $290 US per person. If you're in a real rush to zip from Osaka to Tokyo, you'll be happy to hear that a new bullet train, the N700S, began operating on July 1st. The line is on the Japan Rail System, so a JR pass can be used. The train travels at a speed of 360 kilometers per hour with less noise and vibration than previous models. Cabins have softer lighting and each seat has a power plug to recharge electronics, plus the ability to fully recline. If you're worried about a power failure, rest assured the N700S also has a battery backup, so it can continue to operate at lower speeds in case power is lost due to an event such as an earthquake. The downside is that you blink, you'll miss the spectacular view of Mount Fuji. Australia has published a map that shows COVID-19 travel restrictions for each state and territory, and which is continuously updated. Follow the link on your screen to view it. The map only shows rules regarding travel within Australia. Right now, in early August, Australia's borders were closed to all foreign travelers aside from New Zealanders. But if you're eager to go, keep an eye on this map. If cruising is still your thing, think twice before heading to the Indian Ocean. Due to concerns about COVID-19, the Seychelles have banned cruise ships from docking at the Port of Victoria, its capital city, which happens to be the only cruise port in the country. The Seychelles has about a dozen cases of the virus, but are not taking any chances. The port will remain closed until at least 2022. And lastly, if you recently flew on the European airline EasyJet, they've just announced that more than 9 million online customer accounts have been compromised in a hijacking attack dating back to January. Information stolen included email addresses and travel histories. At least 2,200 customers also had all of their credit card information stolen. EasyJet said that by early April, they had notified each customer whose credit card information had been stolen. If you flew with them and haven't heard anything, give them a call or at the very least, check your credit card statement. That's it for now. I'll be back next month with another update. Please email me your questions and comments. I'm Jonathan Van Bilsen from photosNtravel, where we bring the world to your doorstep. And always remember, travel safe.